Let me know what plans you have for this week or today. And by the way, for the people who are popping in and maybe you haven't joined our channel before, if you don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can check out all of my information down below, checking out my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, as well as checking out my Patreon page, YouTube members, and hey, maybe checking out our shops, our witchy shop, Desert Cauldron, over on Etsy, maybe signing up for the newsletter or checking out James's Crystal Shop. All of those links are down below. All right, so let's see who is here with us. Susie is here. She says, Happy Cinco de Mayo. She says, beautiful, congratulations on 9.99 thousand subscribers. That's right, we are a few subscribers away from hitting 10,000. We are going to be doing a celebration, of course. For that, we'll be doing a giveaway, plus lots of other things going on with Patreon. I'm going to do something special over there, also for my YouTube members, and a special video for here on Patreon. So sorry, here on YouTube. So super excited about that. Okay. So as you can see, we are in the kitchen today because we are going to be whipping up a little bit of magic, and doing our weekly reading as well. So I picked a few decks for today, but first I want to say a thank you. So thank you to everybody who is subscribed to the channel. Thank you to all of the live chat crew who comes out here every Sunday. Thank you to my moderators. Thank you to everybody who has commented or thumbs up the videos and things like that. Thank you so much for all of your support. Everybody who's offered suggestions for our Monday channeling videos, which, by the way, we have a channeling video coming out tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that will be on the dinosaurs. So I think you guys are really gonna like that video. It was very interesting finally getting that on camera. Marina says hello. Such a long time I've not been online. Glad to see you all. Yay! Good to see you. But also, hey, want to give a shout out not only to my homies here, but also to my YouTube members. So Liesel and Kayla, love you guys. Also my patrons, Mirna and Karen, and we have a brand new patron, Rara, Liesel, Sarah, Heather, Lily, Dana, Jamie, Kayla, Syrian, Brandy, Jason, and Brian. Love you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so let's see. We have some homies trickling on in. Angela is here. She says, blessings, everyone. Happy Cinco de Mayo today. May all of you be blessed with your favorite treats and cakes today. Amen. All righty. Good to see you guys. She said, sending you all love and blessings. How are you all? That is a good question. Well, for me personally, I am doing well. Like I said, I'm going to be whipping up a little kitchen magic with you guys, and it's a very, very simple little drink that we're going to be making. And I think you guys are going to dig it. And I'm pretty sure you guys have this ingredients in your kitchen, so you'll be able to whip this up too. Yeah, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about Cinco de Mayo. I actually brought some decks out that kind of go along with that theme, I suppose. And yeah, we'll have a little chat ski after our weekly reading. And then we will do our super chats and super stickers afterwards. So anybody who would like me to pull a card, pull down some messages for them individually, so for your personal questions, we'll do that through super chats and super stickers. And then we will get into our channeled guided meditation. Alrighty. Okay, so let me put this off to the side here. Okay, so before we get into our kitchen magic, let's talk a little bit about the weekly reading. So what we have cooked up for this week. First, I want to show you the decks I'm working with. And by the way, let me know what decks you are working with today. Or maybe you're not working with your decks, you are working with runes, or maybe you're just pulling down good old-fashioned channeled messages from your intuition. Let me know, of course. All right, so I have a deck that my best friend gave me, which is the Sugar Skulls Tarot, which looks a lot like this. And I have trimmed it and edged it in black. I'm really smitten with how it came out, you know. All right. And then I have the Jade Oracle here. I'm not gonna use all of these decks. I just wanted a variety. So I also have the Herb Crafters Tarot. And I have my Santa Muerte Tarot, my Santa Muerte Oracle. I have the Tarot del Fuego. And lastly, I have the Xultun Tarot, which is a Mayan deck. All right. So let's see here. Angela says, I just got new cards, Goddess Among Us, Nature's Whispers. Just getting to know them since they came yesterday. Ooh, maybe you'll be able to utilize them today. Okay, so let's do a little bit of adjustment here. There we go. Maybe we'll move the trash. We'll do that. Much better. No need to stare at that mess quite literally. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into what we have going on for this week. It's a little windy outside. I wish I could have you guys outside today because it has been much warmer, so in the upper 60s, low 70s, but it's very, very windy today, and that wind is kind of cold, so we are inside today. But yeah, I was like looking forward to wearing my little tank top with my nice embroidery on it that my friend had gifted me a while back, but it was not in the cards for us today. Sukhbir is here. Hello, hello. Susie has Zolar's Astrological Tarot. Excellent. Angela says, it's not a mess. It's just a sign your home is lived in home, not a sterile magazine picture. Very true. Very true. John is here. He says, hey, people in spirits. What's up? All right. So let's see. What deck do we want to use? Let's go with the Herb Crafters. And let's see. Let's go with the Jade Oracle. Yeah, I'll use those two. Okay, let's do it. So let's dive in. What can we expect for this upcoming week? Any heads ups, things to meditate on, things to look into? And by the way, while I get these cards ready, I want to thank everybody who has gotten a reading with me. It's been pretty booked lately as far as readings go, so thank you to everybody who's allowed me to look in and help in any way I can. Also, I got to do a one-on-one channeling for some friends in town, so that was great. So they came off the Apache Reservation, and I'm kind of looking forward to that, maybe doing some more like in-person, in-town channelings, as well as, of course, doing my online videos and channelings and readings for people. But yeah, it's been pretty cool. I also have I've done quite a few actually Mayan destiny charts, which are Mayan birth charts lately. So if you're interested in any of those things, like I said, definitely check out the website down below. All right. All right, so let's use the Jade Oracle first, just to pull up a theme for the week. Let's see. Susie said, cute top. Thank you. Everybody's saying hello. Lisa's here. Hey! She says, bless up, peeps. Susie's saying, yay, that's wonderful. Angela said, blessings, Lisa. Blessings to you. Hugs to you all. And how are you? KDS Worker is here. Hello. Session went over, so I'm a little late. Hey, no worries. We just now kind of started rolling into it. Angela says, I'm going to use Goddesses Among Us and their companion deck, Angels Among Us, today. Very nice. Lisa says, I'm in the kitchen too, making gypsy food in a Dutchy pie. A Dutchy pot, iron skillet. Very nice. Silver Star, hey, Heather's in the house. All right, okay, so we have the Jade Oracle. Let's go ahead and pull a card theme for this week. And it has been fabulous, I feel. You know, it's been a slow start into spring, I think. And then, of course, now we're not really like so much spring, but we're getting closer to summer as we've already hit that midpoint. So for all of my witchy homies out there that celebrated Beltane on the 1st, so May Day on the 1st, that was the halfway point. So between that spring solstice or spring equinox and the summer solstice, we're right in between there, and it is starting to warm up. It is getting nicer. Could do without all the wind though, you know. All right, so let's go ahead and pull a card. What can we expect? What is the theme for this upcoming week? Oops, get my cards in there. Okay. Everybody's saying hello. Heather says, gotta go grab some decks. Be right back. KDS Worker sending hugs to all. John says, might make some Persian food for the new moon. Ooh, dude. I love me some Persian food. Very good, very good. Susie said, the 10 of Pentacles on this deck is good for real estate and prosperity. That is what she pulled. Also Persian food. Delish. Lisa says it's 64 degrees here, mate. Well, that's a nice day. That is a beautiful day. Susie said it's also good for family affairs. KDS says, I could do without all the tornadoes in Texas. Yeah, you know, maybe a little less on the tornado, of course. All right, we have Xocolatl, sorry. And that is the eagle, Águila. So let's dive into this. Okay, so I see this very much like the Mayan word men, which is also like eagle or eagle vision. So having that broader perspective. So just more of a observant type energy for this week. And although yes, we do have a touch of observing our actions and observing situations every day, every week, this one is, I feel, less action and more just taking a pause this week. So kind of a lull. And it's interesting because that's kind of how I felt the energy's been for the past like week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. It's just this almost like waiting period. Everybody's just in this lull, just watching, waiting, not quite sure what we're waiting for, but just like listening, going inwards, you know, for the time being, kind of in a hermit mode. And we're just reflecting, we're just observing. Oh, and as I observe out the window, our doves are here. And by the way, it's nice to see in this change of season, the changes in the animals and the changes in the plants. So our flowers are all starting to bloom. There's a changing of the guard, so to speak, with our birds and animals. So a lot of the wintertime birds have left, and we have now more of our spring and summer birds. So the doves are back. They came back about a week and a half ago. Some of the goldfinches are back. And yeah, the blue jays never really go away, so they're always here, but they're here more in full force. Oh, by the way, you guys know Miss Squirrel. She's been on camera before, and actually she will be on camera again for the channeling in tomorrow's video. But Miss Squirrel gave birth yet again. I think she's repopulating the hill in squirrels. So she's been gathering up food for her little ones. But yeah, I had a little chat with her because I noticed she shrunk, and I was like, oh, she finally gave birth. So she says when she can, she will bring by one of her babies just like she did last time to introduce them to us. Angela said, be true to yourself. Distance, time, and space and color don't matter. We all live in the same place, whether at home or away, close or apart. We are all family, and that's the truth. So many deny within their hearts. Amen. Sukhbir was also commenting the 9.99. That's right, we're just a few subbies away from 10,000. And you know we're going to do something special. Lisa said, bless up, Miss Squirrel. Susie said, bottom of the deck was the 10 of Cups. interesting. You have 10 of Pentacles and now 10 of Cups. This is lots of tens today. New beginnings, success, and happiness. Heather said, "Ah, congrats to her. So sweet, Miss Squirrel." All right, so let's see what the Herb Crafters Tarot has for us as clarification for this week. So we know that it's just, you know, more of a chillaxed week. Of course, observing, taking it in, you know, of course, maybe journaling it, meditating on it, reflecting, always doing healing. There's never not a good time to heal. I mean, it's always a good time. But yeah, we have that eagle eye perspective. But what else do we need to know? Boom, and I feel like one more card. No whammy, no whammy. All right, let's put that here. Okay, so we have the Ace of Air, which is yarrow. And we do have a bit of yarrow that grows wild around here. We have the Empress Rose, which we do have a type of rose that grows around here called Apache Rose. Not your traditional looking rose, but it's within the rose family. We also have the Hija of Fire, which is the California Poppy. All right, and I love the art in this deck. You know me. Let's see here. Go up here. Sukbir was wondering what country the flag is. Not sure which flag you are referring to. Maybe in here? No? I don't know. Let's see. Angela said, "Congrats on baby fuzzy creatures. May she find all the food she needs and more." Heather said, "I just saw 1010. Synchronization there." Yes, of course. Liesel said, "Defo time to chillax." Hey, Patrick is here. Hey, dude. How are you? Susie's like, "No whammy." Angela said, "From Goddesses Among Us, we have Mat and Archangel Christiel." Lisa said, "Love the Apache Rose." And Susie said, "Mexico." Oh, in the title. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot that I had put that in the title of our live chat today. So yes, that is the flag for Mexico because today is Cinco de Mayo, which actually I want to talk a little bit about after our reading. And Silver Star said, 44, gratitude is the first step toward the abundance and awareness of the true gifts of life every day. Feel gratitude for the priceless memories and people enlightening your journey. And Susie was talking about Cinco de Mayo. Angela said, "Don't just fly with no destination. Don't be with those who poison you or clip your wings. Sometimes justice is walking away. Sometimes an angel has to curse and swear to get a point across." You don't have to be perfect. We're not either, but we don't take any garbage, and you shouldn't either. Beautiful. Roxana is here. Hello. She says, "It's been forever. Glad to see you. Glad to see you." And Silver Star says, "The more you send this feeling and energy to the universe, the more you'll receive the reason to be grateful for." Wonderful, beautiful messages. By the way, anybody who's watching the replay of this live chat later on, I highly encourage you to read the chat because there are some beautiful messages there from some wonderful souls, and so much is being shared there as well as the stuff that I myself am sharing here. So all right, so let's dive into this with our Ace of Air, the Empress, and the Hija of Fire, which is like our Page of Wands. Okay, so let's tap in. Okay. I get it. Okay, so for this week, you know, we had the eagle here, and I want to make sure that I am pronouncing it correctly. So Xocolatl. Xocolatl. There we go. So our eagle. And we were talking about having that step back. We're just kind of observing and watching. And sometimes through those observations, we get this little fire under our butt, right? We're like, ooh, that reminds me, I want to do this now, and I want to do this now. And especially because in the Northern Hemisphere, it's starting to warm up quite a bit. You know, maybe not in all parts of our regions, but in most parts of the Northern Hemisphere, things are really starting to heat up. And so with that, there is this inclination to want to create and do. And yes, you know, we want to do those things. But for now, it's saying to maybe just write down a lot of those ideas for this week. Maybe table those topics. Like, I want to do this later. Maybe I'll do this later. These are some thoughts that I have, but I'm going to write them all down, or I'm going to meditate on them right now. It's saying because it might be a little premature if we take action right away when we don't have the full picture for everything. And that's what that eagle is for us to give us that clear view, that higher perspective. But we want to allow ourselves to get as much information as we can get from that higher perspective before we take action on anything. So it's not saying to like not do anything forever, just write things down. You know, I know that we forget and things like that, you know, where we have that moment of inspiration and then we forget about it 5 minutes later. So if you have those moments of inspiration this week, great, make sure that you write them down or put them into voice notes, you know, on your phone, whatever it may be, so that you can work on it a little bit later once you have fully, let's say, you feel like you've gotten all the information that you can get, instead of, I'm getting some bits of information, ooh, let's just do this right now. So it's not really about instant action this week. That's not really what I'm getting for most people. Of course, always follow your intuition, follow your own gut, no matter what we say or I say, whatever. You always follow your intuition, but it just feels like in general for the collective. And by the way, when I talk about the collective, I'm talking about everybody from humans to plants to animals, everything. So this is just observe. Let things just pass right on by. I know we're going to want to do something about things, but just let it pass by, see what happens, write things down, meditate on it, and then if later on you're like, okay, now I want to go back to this, I'm so glad I didn't take action right away because I would have missed this, this, and this, you know, and it would have been like a, you know, but there's learning in that too. So again, follow your intuition. Okay, so we're learning from that eagle. We're taking in that Empress energy and bringing us back to that page of fire type energy, where we're just the student this week, and as the student we're learning, we're observing as always, and we go back and forth between teacher and student, teacher and student. You know, we live a dual lifestyle, a dualistic lifestyle. So, all right, very good. I'm excited for this week. Let's see, what do we have here? Susie said Ace of Wands now. I feel very hopeful. Heather said beautiful card. Angela says I drew Baba Yaga and Sarasvati Baba Yaga and Angels Among Us, and Sarasvati from Goddesses Among Us. Susie saying wonderful message. Liesl got the Fool card. Fool card coming up quite a bit, I think. So that's wonderful too. Heather said yes, this came through in my live step back observation. Definitely feels like we need that time to see clearly before we act. Yep. Says trust and faith right now. Angela said the dark and the light work together, where from it doesn't matter, it's who you are and what you do, it's how you treat others that define you. Remember, your manners don't step into dangerous situations. Stand aside and rise above. Life is balanced. Shadows are another side of love. Amen. Amen indeed. Beautiful messages, you guys. All right, so let's put these off to the side. Durka, durka, durka. Okay, so like I said, we're in the kitchen. We're going to be whipping up something today. Obviously, you guys can see I have some ingredients here. Maybe just looking at the ingredients, can you guess what we might be making? We have some cacao powder. We have some semi-sweet morsels, measuring cups. We have some vanilla beans in here, fresh vanilla beans. We have cinnamon, honey, chili powder, and oh, one more ingredient. Let me bring it out. Leche, milk. Okay. Let's see if you guys can guess which we are going to make. Let's go back here. And just saying hugs, Susie, so much love to you all. Ooh, foods. Are we making brownies? Susie's saying hot chocolate maybe. Likewise, beautiful Angela, thank you. Lisa says, Susie, I went a little card. I sent a little card reading to Mikey today. Bless him, he's working night shifts. And John says, is this Aztec cocoa ritual? It sure is. I mean, I've toned it down so it's not so Azteca, but so it's a little bit more palatable. But of course, you could make it more, and I'll show you how. But yes, so Susie, you guys, John, you're all right. It is hot chocolate, but more of a it's called Xocolatl, which is also in the title. You see the word starts with an X, so it's, well, in Spanish, chocolate, but that's a little bit different. Xocolatl is more of a ritual drink, and so that's what we're going to be doing. And just saying, gee, thank you. Hugs, everyone. Patrick says, I'm healing all my ego aspect. It's a lot. Reptile and Anubis life are a bit hard. They struggle to let me go. Well, you know, it's definitely a journey. I mean, you know, as you know, James and I have been working diligently to remove ego. So it's a daily thing. Patrick, I know you do it daily. It's as certain things pop up and we recognize the ego, it's like, oh, gotta work on it again, gotta work on this aspect again. And it's like, as soon as you think you get through an aspect, there's another layer, there's another layer, there's another door, you know? Oh my gosh. But I know we're gonna get through it. We're gonna do it. Silver Star said, beautiful messages, you all. I love how we all add to the community and our way. It's so beautiful. Angela said, there's a ritual with hot chocolate. Ooh, thank you, Esta Culture. What's it for? Yeah, we'll definitely dive into it. It says, your shadows just need a big hug, magic healing. John says, my ego is so loud. Dude, sometimes, yeah, sometimes I'm just like, total flare up. And then you're like, God, again, you know? Lisa said, ego is like bailing out a leaky boat for me. Dude, speaking of leaky boat, like when I was growing up, my grandfather had this little tiny boat. It was just a little fishing boat, and it had a hole. I had several holes in it, and so there was like Bondo, like stucco, like all over it. But it leaked a little bit. So while we'd be fishing, it'd slowly be sinking. We just had to, you know, bail out a little bit of water every now and then. And I feel like it's kind of like that with our ego. It's like, really, again, another leak, like again, you know. Heather's like, so true. Angela said, hugs all the egos until they're satisfied and go away. They're the parts of you that didn't get enough love. Hug them, but don't listen to them. Yep, Lisa's like Bondo. Yep, I think the whole boat was made out of Bondo, seriously. All right, you guys, so let's talk a little bit about these ingredients and talk a little bit about today. So today, yes, Cinco de Mayo. It's become kind of like a Mexican-American holiday, just because the way it's celebrated here in the United States, it's mostly for everybody just a day to drink and party. Down in Mexico, it's really the only place it's like super celebrated is maybe along the border, you know, but also in the town of Puebla. So, and that's where this little skirmish took place. So it's sometimes confused with Mexican Independence Day, and actual Independence Day is September 16th. And that took place like 50 years before what we now know as like Cinco de Mayo, and it was the Battle of Puebla. So in that battle, we had General Zaragoza, he was, it was during a time of Mexico was doing business with their foreign partners. So that would be England, and it was Spain, and it was France. And Mexico wanted a break on repaying their debts to their foreign partners. So they said, hey, if we could just have like a little weight on repaying some of those debts. Well, their European partners didn't quite like that, so they decided that they were going to come and invade Mexico, and they were going to, you know, basically make it their own empire. And then the next part of that was to also take hold of the United States. So they were going to just make it all part of Europe. But there was General Zaragoza. He decided with a band of basically mestizas and Zapotecs, and the Mexican people, not having really much training or much weaponry, that they were going to push back. They said, hey, you can't just come in here and bully us. We're tired of being bullied. So yes, we didn't want to repay our debts right now, but also we're tired of people just kind of coming in, invading the country, and then deciding it's going to be that way. Like we're going to do pushback. So they did this little pushback, and it was in the town or the city of Puebla, which is now Puebla de Zaragoza. And in this pushback, England and Spain had already decided this is really not our fight, but the French wanted to push through, and they wanted to bring in Maximilian of Austria and kind of make it his thing there, as well as parts of the United States. They wanted also to take over that too. And in this pushback, they didn't totally eradicate the French, like make the French leave, but the French did stand down. And I believe this was when Napoleon III was in power. So they had this very small victory, and so the reason in the town of Puebla they have like this museum, and they have like a statue, a monument for this battle, even though it was considered like a very small battle, it meant something to the Mexican people. It was that no matter how sometimes defeated we can feel, no matter how imposing a group of people or a government or something can come in, and you may feel lowly as a little person of the country, that in numbers and with enough fight in you, you can push back. And that's what it meant. It meant the heart of the true Mexican people was that we could push back no matter what. Even if it seems like 3 countries against one, we can push back. And they did. They pushed them out of the town of Puebla. And so that's why it meant something special. And that's kind of lost meaning, here in the United States with, everything. So when it becomes, we think of Cinco de Mayo, we think of like Cinco de Drinko, like everybody's just, drinking and partying. And yes, there is a bit of partying in Mexico as well, but it was just this very small victory just to say we could. Like I said, it does get confused with the Independence Day, which would have been September 16th of way before of it was 1810, whereas in 1862 is when this battle took place. So many years later. But if we wanted to go into the specifics of the Independence Day, that was actually led by, see if I can remember, Miguel Hidalgo y Castillo, or Castilla, and he was a priest, and he had these ideas of independence from Spain, basically, and he wanted a redistribution of land. He wanted equality for all races there, and he was basically part of this little rebellion. And in the town of, was it Dolores? They call it Grita de Dolores, which is the cry of Dolores. He decided we're just revolting now, like no more. And it was basically a revolt against the upper class, but also a pushback of Spain. and he was, you know, backed by the indigenous peoples and other peoples of Mexico. And so he rang the bell of the church, and that was like and that was on September 16th, and it was like, we're fighting back now. And so they fought pretty hard, and once they made it, and actually they overtook many of the cities. They were like taking back their land, and when they got to the capital, he paused, and it was in that pause that actually caused his defeat. If he would have just pushed through the capital, they probably would have won, and they would have totally taken back Mexico. But he paused. It ended up, you know, kind of crumbling. Finally, the ruling class got to kind of get their stuff together because they were taken totally off guard. But once they got to solidify themselves and push back against the people, it was kind of all over. So Hidalgo decided to run off to America, and he was going to hide there, but he got caught along the way, and he was executed via firing squad for his injustices against the ruling class. But that was also a day that they consider like the Independence Day. It was a day that was very special to them because it was like, you know, again, if you truly desire change in your country, that you can be someone, you don't have to be some politician, you don't have to be some great person, that you can just be a regular Joe. You know, he was a priest, he was just a regular Joe, and there was just many people that believed what he believed, and they made great changes, and they realized this, and that's what created a lot of change in Mexico, was because they saw what they could do just being average, just being a normal person. And so that's why I think, you know, like Mexican Independence Day, Cinco de Mayo, or even, you know, no matter what country this is happening in, there's been things like this all over the world where there's a small group of people, and it may seem like the odds are against them, you know, against a massive government or a massive ruling class. But when you bring the people together for a common cause and they are fighting for their freedom, they can make huge changes. They can like turn the tide, so to speak. And so that's what I think is so cool. And actually, I think it's in alignment with The Walking Dead, because I've been on a binge, like watching all of The Walking Dead from season 1 to, we're gonna get to the last season, season 11. So we just started season 7, and I hadn't seen The Walking Dead before, so I'm watching it now. But we're in this part in the season 7 where the leader, you know, Rick Grimes, is feeling quite defeated. He thinks that because he's outnumbered by Negan's men, that's it. We just have to submit. We just have to acquiesce. You just do basically what Negan and his men want them to do. And I think of Negan as like a massive government. The government comes in, you know, they make a couple of examples of people by, you know, killing people, or in this case, in our country, like putting them in jail or throwing them in prison. That scares everybody. It's scare tactics. It's saying, we're gonna take a couple people, do something really nasty to them to get you to submit. And for the most part, a lot of people submit. They say, oh no, I don't want to see any more people getting hurt, so I'll just do whatever it is you want me to do. And that's kind of what's happening in the show. And I think that it's an interesting, I guess, take on the way governments are today. It's, you know, big government says, hey, you know, you don't listen to us, we're going to throw you in prison. And kind of whatever they've done in the past has been enough to scare the people into submission, into just doing what they want. Although the people may grumble and say, oh, I don't like what they're doing. For the most part, it's like, okay, whatever you want, you know, you want to do this, you want to take this from us, go ahead. And then in the show, now the government has come in and taken all of their weapons, because they know that if the people have the weapons, they would rise up against them. And so now they are disarming the people, because that's how you control a populace, is make them feel small, make them feel that they can't defend themselves, make them feel that that they would stand no chance against you. So I'm waiting to see in the episodes if they finally get it together, band together all these different groups, like maybe like the Kingdom, the Hilltop, where they are in Alexandria, maybe some other communities. If they can all just come together, they could rise up against this scary government, the Negan group. So anyway, I thought that was interesting, and I thought that that would be just kind of fun to discuss, you know, because we have that we have that theme not only running through countries throughout the world of, it seems like people are starting to realize their power and their sovereignty, and that, hey, just because a government's been a government or a monarchy for, this many years doesn't mean it has to be like that forever. That it's the people that are the country. It is the people that are the world, and that we can make changes. But also, if you bring that into a smaller scale, that's us. We can make changes within us. And Patrick was talking earlier about it being kind of an uphill battle with the ego. You can think of the ego as like the government and the soul is the people. And sometimes it feels like we're fighting each other, but we can work together. We can figure it out. We can turn the tide so that, the ego isn't always in charge. We can put the soul in charge if we want to. It's just going to take a bit of work and a bit of patience. So I thought that was interesting. So anyway, let's go back to see what you guys were saying. Oh, wow, I missed a bunch of comments. John says they didn't have flex tape back then. Oh yes, for the boat. Angela said, ooh, fascinating. Never heard of this. Lisa says, I have a tin plate, Sacred Heart from Mexico on my wall. Hey, Mexico, posthumous apologies from England. Bless up. Hey, no worries. No worries. Susie said, love Mexico. It has been a few years since I've been, but I could so live there. There are some beautiful parts, very beautiful. Lisa wants to visit as well. Susie says, every time I enter the country, you're made to feel so welcome. Exactly. I have always felt welcome. Well, I mean, where I grew up a few miles from the border of, Tijuana. So I was in Chula Vista. So basically it's like Chula Vista, San Ysidro, Tijuana. And yeah, every time I went in, I always felt welcome. Angela said, gosh, bless all the souls involved in that conflict. May they rest in power. They were brave to stand up. And Susie says, another reason to renew my passport. Lisa said, the bloody English. Well, I think that's also something too. Sometimes we, like whenever there's wars, kind of like there's wars happening now, that sometimes we equate all of the people in the country for the government's doings. And that's not always the case, that I don't feel that way. Like I know that America's gotten in quite a few skirmishes, and in fact, they're funding skirmishes right now. They've always been funding, both sides of the war, because it profits, war makes profits. And so sometimes they say America is doing this, America is doing that, or England is doing this, or Spain, or Mexico, or whatever it may be. But it's the governments. I doubt if you went around to just your average American, hey, do you want to go to war right now? Hey, do you want to go fund some wars right now? I don't think that would be the case. Those are the governments. And I think that there is a reason why we're made to, this is just my opinion, so by the way, I'm not like trying to like preach like I know everything. There's a reason why there's so much money in sports, like sports teams. Like for us in the United States, it's the NFL, like football, which means something totally different in other countries. That means soccer in different countries, but here it's like football, American football. And it's because it's all about team versus team, us versus them. And we're very good at a us versus them mentality. It's a very good psychological thing. And so since we get into this kind of feeling of pride for a team, we can also feel that pride for a country. We may feel that my identity is my country, so that when the country does something, we feel like I have done something, when really you haven't done anything. Your government has done something and then said that you are a part of it. So that's just something I wanted to point out. I think that there's a reason why, they have those, why there's such big money in sports, is because it translates into getting people to perceive themselves as their country instead of just being people of the world, that we're all separate. Like I'm in this country here, I'm separate from that people there and that people there, when really we could all come together, no matter what country we're in. We could all come together and push back if we wanted to. But who knows? That might be years down the road. I'm hopeful. Let's go back here. Patrick says, I have a lifetime as Napoleon and a few US presidents and CIA in the 1950s too. Oh, wow. Susie said, Mexican people are my fave, to be honest. I love my neighbor. Lisa said, Napoleon was an amazing strategist. He was. He was. I will hand it to him. Patrick says, he had a spiritual guides to win his battles. John said, Dolores' subplot is Westworld makes more sense now. Lisa says, I push back on the British elite regularly. They dislike us gypsies here. Wow. But you know what? I feel changes are coming, and they have been happening. Big changes around the world, more than I think has happened in the past. Susie said, Westworld, excellent show, John. Told us a lot. And Angela was saying, wow, thank you for sharing this. I wish I'd been taught about this. It's so nice to know the story behind things like this. Rest in power to those who fought for justice. And Susie's saying, mind control literally in the world government. Mensis. KDS Worker says, creating fear is the method to control thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. Exactly. Angela says, it's sad. Why do people have to be so cruel to each other when it shows or reality? It's much better to be nice. But you know what? We're learning. We're all learning. And it's all a lesson. There's light and shadow and light. There always is. KDS says, choose positive intentions and affirmations and gratitude to attract the same. Heather said, absolutely. There's more of us. If we work together, we can create beautiful things. KDS says, I have a very hard time with people in the streets. Do I help the blind, the crippled, the single mom? I can't take pressure off the street persons trying to learn or trying to earn. And Angela's saying amen to that. I decided to pull on this and got the Guru Ram Das from Angels Among Us and Ma Kali from Goddesses Among Us. Lisa said the soccer FA is like the NFL. FIFA. Angela said, be the rebellious one, but think before you act. Sometimes staying calm and loving is the key. People get too wrapped up in lapping up vengeance when it only begets more bad energy. And Susie says, we can and will, I believe. Angela is saying, one of the greatest skills of the soldier is knowing when to stop, when to put away the sword and let the shield drop. Knowing when to be calm and when to push is key. Patrick was saying to Karen, they have chosen to walk that path, even if it's really hard to look at. Exactly. And Angela's saying, violence is not the answer. Now the answer is serenity. Susie's saying, I am pro-human. Yeah, we're pro-human. Exactly. Wonderful messages, you guys. All right, so let's talk about this ritual chocolate while I put it together. I won't be able to see your comments right now because now I'm gonna be cooking over here, but let me get my little lighter going. So for this ritual chocolate known as Xocolatl, which is different than chocolate. So first, let's just go with the ingredients. So we have some leche, we have some milk, and we're gonna do 1.5 cups of this. So this should be good for like a couple of people. So, you know, if you guys wanna share this in your household. So I know that maybe some of you guys have this around your kitchen, so it might be easy for you to make this up too. But we're gonna do 1.5 cups of milk. And you think of the ritualistic properties of milk. Milk comes from the mother, mother equaling life, rebirth, something new beginnings, something that Susie was talking about in her card pulls with the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups. New beginnings. But also I feel like Empress energy when I think of milk. Let's go ahead and light this baby up. By the way, we don't want our milk to boil because that kind of hurts the milk. So we're just going to put this in a medium temperature. Let me get myself a spoon here to mix this. Aha, wooden spoon. Here we go. So yeah, Empress energy, mother energy, life-giving energy, rebirth, also family, new beginnings. That's what we have going on with the milk. I'm going to add in a half a cup of water. And we also think of life when we think of water. Where there's water, there's trees, there's animals, there's people. So much life surrounding water. Water is what is mostly within us. Water is what makes up most of this planet that we are on. Okay, I'm also going to put in a half a cup of semi-sweet morsels. Now, if this were traditional, like if this were ritualistic, like Aztec ritualistic, we wouldn't be using semi-sweet morsels. We would actually be using cacao beans, which is why we're using this cacao powder. So it was actually not very sweet at all. It was very bitter because it was meant for ritual. It was not really meant for like something to drink every day or like even as a dessert. There was some intention behind it, and it was yeah, it was used by the ruling class because cacao is seen as precious, but it was also used by priests, shamans. But I'm gonna make this a little bit sweet, so that's why I'm using semi-sweet morsels. Okay, so put this off to the side. Let me just make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. Alrighty. And then I'm going to put a little bit of cacao powder, which means I'm probably going to need my whisk. It sometimes can be a little difficult for cacao to mix itself in. But for me, I'm using cacao as a homage to Aztec and Mayan heritage. So there we go. Just a little dupe will do ya. That's probably like a quarter cup. Yeah, probably like a quarter cup or 1/8 of a cup maybe. All right, so there's that. I also want to put in 2 sticks of cinnamon. Cinnamon represents fire, represents newness, again, rebirth. I think of the phoenix when I think of cinnamon. And cinnamon would be something that would have been added to traditional Aztec ritual drink. To add a bit of smoothness, we're going to add some vanilla bean, which could have also been added back in the day, around the time when the Spanish had invaded. So when the Maya and the Aztec, all of them were kind of like mingling in. And although the Aztec came a little bit later after the Maya, there's still a few Mayan descendants. So there was still Maya around. So I'm going to use a little bit of this vanilla bean here. Boop, that's going to go right there. And then, of course, good old-fashioned honey to give it a bit of sweetness, to sweeten the deal, the honey pot, so to speak. So any intention that you would like to add, you can add at this time. I'm putting in roughly like 2-3 teaspoons of honey. You could use the actual chili pepper. I don't have a chili pepper here, so I'm going to use chili powder. I'm probably just going to use like a teaspoon of chili pepper, so I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay, that's probably too much, but that's all right. All right, so we're going to give this a little whisk, and then I'll come back to your comments, and then we could talk a little bit about how to make it more traditional, or just, you know, talking about what I'm doing here, because I want to make it more palatable here. So that's why I added the chocolate chips and the honey. Okay, so give that a good mix. And then I'm going to put this to low. I'm going to let that simmer so all the stuff can kind of really sink in and incorporate itself. Okay, actually, let's put that over there. Okay, so let's see what we have going on here. All right. Heather said, sounds like you got the same storm I've got coming in. It's howling here too. Yep. Susie says, Heather, it poured last night, sadly, probably coming your way. That's what James's dad said yesterday, that in the Bay Area, it was pouring rain yesterday. Susie says, I am tired of geoengineering. I know, right? I feel like that's a violation of free will because I didn't ask for all this. Silver Star says, yes, it is, Susie. Next 3 days, it's all rain. I get Sunday off with you at you all. At least I can't work outside in the rain. Unproductive. Oh, Subir. All right. Let's go ahead and grab a deck. Can you please bring peak targets for green Bitcoin and Squiddy AI for the 2024-25? Can you pull cards? Is it better for me to go to New Zealand or to be in India? Okay. So peak targets for green Bitcoin. I'm not too familiar with Bitcoin, so wouldn't. Maybe you can explain what peak target means. But I'll definitely pull a card to get a feel for New Zealand and India. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. All right, thank you, by the way, Subir. And here, Silver Star says, me too. Rarely do I get one day off, so I'm half here listening while I work to get and I enjoy all of your company. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Subir and Heather. Yes, that's something I like to do. I like to listen to live chats and work. Sometimes it's nice to hear in the background, you know. And Lisa said, dude, I don't think financial predictions are appropriate. Yeah, it's a little bit harder with financial predictions because there's so much influence in it, and since it's not directly like related to you, it's difficult because there's an influence not only of the collective consciousness, but I also know that there's I would say cabal influence and that too. So although we can, I guess, look at the timeline that you're on, what you might see, there's just too much extra, I guess, energy, since it's not just your life, but it's like the lives of others that are all connected to it. But definitely I can look into the New Zealand versus India, kind of what like pros and cons of going to either. So definitely look into that. And Susie says the markets are highly manipulated. Yes. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the thing. I mean, if it were a like pure, just like looking into something, like sometimes when I like look into relationships, and we can look into, you know, whether it would be in my best interest to stay in a relationship or not in my best interest. And yes, it is involving another person, but it's more of a pure type energy because it's just you and it's just the other person. Whereas when you think of like financial markets, it's not just you and another person, it's a lot of other persons, plus there's a lot of, yes, light in there, but there's shadow as well, meaning that there's a lot of cabal influence, like Susie was saying, manipulation. So it's hard to say that a market is purely or freely going in this direction when there's other forces that are making it not go in that direction. So it's not quite organic. Yeah, I think that's the term I'm trying to say, is it's harder for anybody to do a reading on something when it's not in an organic flow. If there's something that's keeping it from going a certain way, that's more difficult, because the prediction would say it's supposed to go this way, it's meant to go this way. But if somebody comes in, group of people, and they're like, no, it's going to go this way, and yank the rug out from under us, that's when it gets difficult. All right, so let's take a look at New Zealand. I believe that's what you were saying. Was it New Zealand? Yeah, versus India. that we can look into. Just weighing the pros and cons. Alrighty, because that's way more organic. um, okay, so as far as New Zealand would go, we have the Lover's card, but then we have India, which is the Knight of Cups. And so it feels like there would be no bad choice. And I feel like that's with all choices. There is no bad choice. There is no wrong choice, because there's learning and growth no matter where we go. And although, let's say in New Zealand, you might feel more of an affinity there, like you might feel an affinity for the people, for the culture, for the energy there. And yes, you could have some beautiful, wonderful growth there. I also feel that there is a lot of heart healing that could happen in India as well, staying within India, where a lot of old shadows, old triggers and things come up for mega healing. So I feel like you could do a lot of healing as far as the heart chakra is concerned in India, especially if you're wanting to remove ego, if you're wanting to grow as a soul. That would really be beneficial. Going to New Zealand, I feel like there would be some growth there as well, but it might be a bit slower. So if you want a faster route, I would say India. If you want a little bit slower, but still having a learning process, still having growth, I would say go with New Zealand. But of course, go with your gut. That's always the number one thing, is go with your higher self. Go with what your intuition is telling you. But I feel either or, there's not one that's better, quote unquote, than the other. There's going to be growth in either one. But if you're really looking to heal some heart chakra stuff, perhaps stay in India. All right. Let's see here. New Zealand. Yes, New Zealand. Silverstar says, I was just looking at pictures of New Zealand. It's beautiful there. It just randomly popped up in my feed the other day looking at nature places. So cool. And Patrick says, Soup Beer, I am in the stock market too, and I know how they mess with it all the time. That's why I traded on a 3-minute time, so they can't do too much about it. It works way better. And Susie's saying New Zealand may be the original home of the Shining Ones, Freddie Silva. Excellent reading. Oh, Honey Lou Wilson is here. Hello, hello. All right. That is starting to smell so good, by the way, back there. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about how to make this more of like a ritual type drink. So if you were wanting to make it like the Maya did, like the Aztecs did, then you would use a bit of cornmeal. And so I have blue cornmeal. They would have used, well, they had different types of corn, actually whole variety of corn, but I have blue cornmeal, so that's what I would use in my ritual drinks. So in the old days, traditionally, we would have gotten cacao beans and crushed them up until they became a powder, kind of like that, or kind of a paste. You would have mixed that with cornmeal. You would have mixed that sometimes with water, or if they had milk around it. So it was either water or milk, sometimes a combination of the two. You would have let it simmer on low for a little while, on a fire. Let it get nice and thick. So it was actually a really thick drink. You probably eat it more than you drink it. Then they would have added chili into it. So there were chilies, so it was quite hot. If they had honey around, they would have put a little bit of honey. Definitely later on, they may have used cinnamon, but cinnamon came later through trade and things like that, because cinnamon, for the most part, comes from India. Actually, we were just talking about India. So it mostly would have been like cornmeal, like mashed up corn, mashed up cacao bean, chili peppers, and perhaps honey if it were around, like I said. So it wasn't really sweet at all. It was very bitter, and it was meant as like taking in all of the things that they felt were that they revered. Like for them, the cacao bean was something very sacred. So you only had it in sacred drinks for sacred rituals. It wasn't for like little kids. It wasn't for every day. So it was mostly relegated to those that perform rituals and those of the upper class, because it was quite expensive because it's, you know, cacao bean. So it was also used as a form of currency. So instead of trading coins or whatever it may be, you trade cacao beans. You know, it was prized, kind of like jade and things like that. So they would let it simmer for a while, get it nice and thick. I have drank it before. It is very bitter, but it also takes you kind of on a spiritual journey. It's a huge heart opener. So there are some words that you would say with it. I definitely feel it in my heart chakra when I have ritual drink. I feel it kind of gets me a little loopy, a little high, because that's what cacao does. It's kind of like for some people, I guess, an aphrodisiac, but it's also, I don't know, it gets you in this like space with your spirit, you know. So if you're going to be doing some meditations or some deep ritual with it, I would say do it, because I don't know, like pure cacao does get you a little loopy. But probably why it was used for ritual. Um, and yeah, so whenever it was big events, that's what they used it for. I don't know if you guys want to try that at home. You know, maybe a little bit of milk, a little bit of pure cacao, so it's going to be highly bitter. Some cornmeal mixed into it, just a little bit of cornmeal to thicken it up, and then maybe a little bit of honey for a little bit of sweetness. But yeah, if you're looking for a massive heart opening type drink for whatever meditation or whatever healing that you're doing, but you really want to open up that heart chakra, believe me, it opens up these beans. they I don't know, they seem to just mix with our energy and our frequency on such a level that um, I just feel like our emotions just come pouring out. So whatever emotions our ego has been stuffing down and not wanting to deal with, oh, it helps to open it up, and then you do as you want with all of that, you know. So if you're feeling joy, if you're feeling sad, or feeling whatever emotions that come up, um, it's great, because our emotions are signaling to us where we need to heal or what's going on within our energy field at the time. And so I think it's a wonderful way to work when we're fully just open. We're not hiding anything from ourselves. So for me, that's what I would use that drink for. For this, yes, it is a bit of a heart opener, but more I want to, my intention is the energy of today, of Cinco de Mayo, of what I was talking about before, where no matter how small we may feel at times, we realize that it was just our ego telling us this, telling us that the whole time. You know, we're really not small. We are all equal. We are all one. We are also one with the people that we consider government or ruling class. They are a part of us. They might be a shadow aspect of us, and there is much we can learn from them. But if there is something that we don't want in our lives, we can always change it. We can always push back. And no matter how insignificant the ego may make us feel, we are all sovereign beings. And when we realize that, ooh, so the changes that we can make in this world. So that's my intention with this drink, is to, I guess, pay gratitude for a remembrance of our sovereignty, of our power, of that we always had the power to create our own reality. We do create our own realities. And if we want to create a reality of something different, then we have to change it. And if we feel that we're too scared to change it, then we go in and we heal why we are scared. Where is that fear actually coming from? Yeah, and that's how we make the changes in our lives. That's how we make the changes in our countries, and that's how we make changes in the world. So, yes, not just a small type drink. I'm making it for a very specific purpose. Let's see. Let's go back here. Silver Star saying beautiful message, and saying hello to Honey Lou. And Susie says, oh, my skin is lovely. Thank you, thank you. Susie says, gonna get some cacao. Excellent. Karen said, my dog is barking all the wind infractions happening at Tara's place. Golden Wizard is protecting Tara from Texas. Nice, thank you. Give him lots of hugs and kisses. Silver Star says, Golden Wizard for the win. Patrick says, that explains why I eat a lot of chocolate. Me too. I've been like, dude, the bitter, the more bitter, the better. You know, so I eat 89%, 99% dark chocolate. Like, take out the sugar, just give me the straight chocolate. Like, Silver Star says, 1111 here, make a wish. All right. Well, you know my wish. Okay. All right, let's see how our chocolate is doing. Our Xocolatl. Shadowlands. Heyo. How are you doing? Okay, let's put that deck aside for now. Let's see how we're doing here. Let's do a little whisk whisk. There you go, so you guys can see. I wish I had the special Xocolatl or hot chocolate type of whisk. My stepmom has one though. My mom used to have one. I don't know where it went. She used to have it when she would make us the abuelita hot chocolate. All right. Let's see, temperature wise, we'll use our little wooden spoon here. Let's see how we got for a taste. Down the wrong pipe. Wow, that is so good. Let's let that simmer for a little bit longer. Oh my gosh, that is so good, you guys. Go me. All right. Well, hot damn. Yeah, I'm gonna let that just simmer. All right, well, while that simmers, if anybody else would like to do super chats or super stickers, definitely let me know. Oh, Shadowland said she sent a message on Insta. I'll definitely check it out. Karen said, I used to throw a dark chocolate over the cubicle to a coworker every time he raised his voice in frustration. It literally calmed him down. You know, I wish somebody would have done that for me back when I was teaching. You know, if a coworker would have just been like, you know, Tara, simmer down now. Here's a little bit of dark chocolate. I would have simmered down, you know? Oh my gosh. Katie says, oh no, he was just super Italian with a short temper. Well, I know that. I have Italian in my family, so we know. Silver Star says, just remember watching Mythbusters and Adam would get told when he was cranky to go eat a cookie. You know, my, oh, who was it? Yeah, it was my best friend, Tone. Oh, yeah, my buddy. I've known him since like 7th grade. Anytime I'd get all bent out of shape, he would just look at me. He's like, you need some chocolate. And I was like, oh, you know, I most of the time this is back in the day when I was like, I was so consumed by my ego. I was like, oh, I had money problems all the time. And it was like, oh, you know, I'm like negative $25 in my account. Don't tell me to go have chocolate. And he'd be like, let's go have some chocolate. Oh my goodness, those were the days. How me and my homie have grown. I haven't grown out of the chocolate though. I will still have chocolate. I will take chocolate as payment. I will take chocolate as a gift. I will take chocolate anytime. I will eat chocolate on a fence. I will eat chocolate in a tree. I will eat chocolate all with thee. Oh my goodness. Patrick said short temper. Lisa said for somebody who needs it. And oh, do we have oh, Nancy here? Shadowland said, I had a dream that started at my house. I found a white kitten and a gray bunny. Then the scene went to Jabba the Hutt's palace. Interesting. Actually, that reminds me, Shadowlands, is anybody else having unusual sleep patterns lately? And unusual dreams? I mean, I always have very vivid dreams. I'm always astral traveling in my dreams. But I've been feeling like restless legs. Like, I don't really get that often, but it's been hard. Usually, it's very easy for me to go to sleep. I mean, as soon as I close my eyes, James says about within a minute and a half or less, I'm already snoring. Like, I'm asleep. But like, it's been hard for me to fall asleep because my legs are restless and there's like just so much energy in me, and I'm so tired though. Like, I want to go to sleep, but it's like my body wants to move, it wants to run, and it's like crazy. Or I fall asleep right away and I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm feeling like I need to go run. It's like my legs are just so restless. My feet won't stop moving. Like, I literally can't keep my body from moving, and I feel bad because I feel like I'm gonna wake up James or something. But yes, there's that. And then I've had some interesting dreams lately. I don't normally dream of ETs, but I have been in my dreams. And one of the dreams was it was nighttime, and I'm with James, and we're looking out into the sky, and there's a string of lights, but it's a double string of lights, and the two strings are like going like this with each other. I don't know if that makes sense. And there's just been dreams of those crystalline beings that I channeled before in Andromeda that felt like, I don't know, I felt really close to them. So it's been a lot of those types of dreams, and the dreams have all been centered around like packing, like something is happening and the whole world is in flux and we're all going someplace, like we're all moving someplace. And maybe it's because we've been watching a lot of The Walking Dead, I suppose, you know, where it's all about like trying to find things, but it's not the end of the world in my dream. It doesn't feel scary. It doesn't feel bad. In fact, it feels really good. But we're all just moving, like we're all leaving somewhere, and it's all like surrounding like these ETs and stuff happening in the world. I don't know. I can't ever remember too many specifics from my dreams. Usually they're so vivid. I remember every single detail of my dreams. But they've been really spotty lately, and it's more like a feeling. It's just like a feeling that we're going somewhere, we're doing something. I don't know. And then I finally do learn how to fly, because that's something in my dream where I always feel like I'm not dreaming, like I'm lucid, and I teach myself how to fly, like literally fly like a bird. Yeah, that's been my dreams. I'm flying, we're all going somewhere, and there's ETs. I don't know. Let me know like what you guys have going on. Let's see. Susie said yes. Lisa said very lucid dreams. Yes. Silverstar said yes. I've been having a hard time sleeping. I fall asleep fine, but I'm waking up early and I'm restless. Really? Shadowland says my third eye has been super active since I got my glasses. Susie's wondering if it's ascension symptoms. You know what? I have cards. Let's pull some cards on this for sure. Patrick says, I have nonstop crazy dreams. I love them all, and for the most, I don't understand what they mean. It's fun and nuts. Me too. For the most part, like I have super vivid dreams. Like I always remember my dreams, and sometimes in my dreams, I remember my other dreams while I'm dreaming. It's like Inception, you know? It's like dreams within dreams within dreams. Silverstar says, the dream too, I've been dreaming of Vishnu and Shiva and Kali Ma. Wow. Liesl says, I'm constantly working through the Bardo and Labyrinth in dreams these nights. This is interesting, Heather, because Shiva has been on my mind. Oh, Angela went to go get some snacks. Anyone want some Twizzlers? I do. They're manifested. Patrick says, I dream a lot about timelines that I have to let go. Interesting. Heather says, I have to dig into it. It represents the universal protection, and healing is what they are telling me. You're being deeply healed by ascended beings. Karen says, my dreams are like Transformers. Angela says, I've been waking up early, sleeping deep, their eye pretty high too, and lots of ideas flowing. Daydreams have been vivid. Karen says, it's been like the past 2 to 3 weeks. Yes. I would say for me, past probably 2 weeks. It's been pretty crazy. And Liesl said, 10 of Pentacles, or sorry, Liesl said, Susie, 10 of Pentacles for you. All right, well, we do have a deck of cards, and this chocolate isn't quite ready yet. So let's pull some cards on why this is. I mean, I pulled some cards on myself for like yesterday, like why I'm having this restless legs, and it was telling me because my channeling has changed, how I channel energy, because James noticed it when we did a channeling for our friend from the Apache reservation. He was having me talk to his wife, and it was like, basically James says it looked like an elderly couple having a back and forth. Like I guess, you know, I've totally just been embodying the energy, where the energy is almost completely taken me over now, where my ego is still there. I still have control of my body. I can still shut it down if I want to, but it's like, it doesn't even feel like channeling anymore. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I know you guys channel as well in all your various different ways. So this is just like my way. But I would have an energy. It would be in front of me. I tell my ego to go to sleep, so it goes off into La La Land. I allow the energy in. I'm very aware that there's another energy in me. So I'm very aware that there's my ego, there's my soul, and there's something else's energy or soul in there. They're using my throat chakra to speak. Sometimes I have more facial, you know, movement based on the energy that's speaking. Sometimes, you know, they control my hands, but that's about it. But lately, the energy has come in. I feel like the energy is me. So their thoughts, there's no distinguishing their thoughts from my thoughts. It's like I am them. And so if they wanted to like move about using me, they could. Of course, I still have control over myself, but it's just been different. And so when I was pulling cards, it was telling me that my restless legs and my having super intense energy is just because now that I'm embodying more of an entity or soul's energy, that I have gotten pretty lax on releasing it. I forget to intentionally release it. So that's what I tried to do yesterday, because we channeled the dinosaurs. I wanted to release that energy, and I did, but I still had restless legs yesterday or last night. So that I want to pull cards on. So let's take a look ski. Let me just grab a deck here. Let's grab Santo Muerte Tarot. Yeah, let's go with my lady. And by the way, if anybody would like to do super chats or super stickers, probably now would be a good time. Shadowland says, I think the meaning of my dream is possibly that I'm going through transformation and there will be abundance after. Oh, very nice. I love that. What a beautiful interpretation. Okay, so let's ask Santa Muerte. Listo says, Santísima. Yes, La Santísima. Sometimes she's known as La Flaca, La Flaquita, La Santísima, Santa Muerte. Mi Madre Santísima. Okay. Why are we all feeling Why are we all feeling unusual in our dream state? What's with the restlessness? Why are we having such intense dreams? Let's see. Okay. Okay. Dude, that's why I love this deck. 3 majors. Are you guys ready? The Devil. The Fool. Remember we were talking about the Fool earlier. And the Chariot. And by the way, as I'm speaking to you guys, my ear is now muffled. It's like I can hear myself talking in my head because I can't hear out of this ear right now. So energy's gotten intense. Okay, so let's look at this. So Chariot, Fool, the devil. All right, so let's tap in. Oh. All right. Okay. Now my ear is really muffled. It's like getting hard to talk because I can only hear myself talking in my head right now. Like, because my ear is so stuffed up right now. I'm not stuffed up, like I don't have allergies right now. It's just sometimes when there's a lot of energy, I lose my hearing in one of my ears. And so it's very intense at the moment. I'm gonna have a little bit of water, see if that helps. Let's see if I could just ground myself for a second. Just. Okay, well hopefully my hearing will come back, but okay. So what I was getting was that there are, outside of this matrix cube, time doesn't exist. So when we talk to certain beings that are outside of the cube matrix, those beings look at the ascension as that every human being ascended at once, because everything happens at once. Because we have linear time here in this 3D matrix cube, it doesn't look like everybody ascends at once, because we think, of our ascended masters, which happened in the past. We know that there are people that have been ascending, but maybe we just, haven't known about them. We know that people will ascend. So for us, we see it as like all broken up, like some ascended here, some ascended here, some ascended here. When in reality, outside of the matrix, everyone ascended all at once. And so in this linear time, there are many of us that are getting ready to ascend around this linear lifetime. And so it feels like those that are having this restlessness about them in their sleep, or trying to sleep, or waking up from their dreams because they're feeling restless. And the reason for the unusualness of the dreams and the intensity of the dreams is because our soul self is outgrowing the body, so to speak. It's vibrating higher than our human vessel. It already does kind of vibrate higher than our human vessel. I don't quite know how to explain it. It's like a getting ready. It's a getting ready. That's the best way I can explain it. It's a getting ready to ascend at a certain point. Whether that ascension happens tomorrow or 30 years from now, it's just a getting ready. And so it's feeling almost like it wants to shed its skin. Literally, our vessel is the skin. And so we've been doing much more in the astral, and sometimes doing things in the astral while we're awake. So part of us is here, like part of me is here talking to you, but also part of me could already be astral traveling, doing other things right now, which could also be why I feel a little fatigued and tired. But also, it's just like things aren't syncing up. Like the soul is doing so much right now. It's getting ready for its ascension out of the cube matrix, while the human vessel is like trying to like keep up with things. So there's like this mismatch right now. So I feel like it's just a mismatch of frequency. Um, and that's just the best way I could describe it. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what you guys have to say about that. Like, what are you guys getting? Like, pull some cards or channel something. Like, let me know. Let's go back here. Do do do. Angela said, I decided to pull a card on this, and I got Archangel Azrael and Goddess Pele Aloha and Hail Lady Pele. Susie said, Lisa gifted a membership to Nancy. Can she have a question? Oh, yeah. Angela said, so felt her vibe on my one visit to Hawaii. OMG, she's fire, but she's so grounded. Love her. And yeah, Liesl did have the Fool card earlier. Katia said they have been having increased ear ringing in the past couple of weeks too. Yeah, it's like, it's intense. I really can't hear out of my ear right now. I can hear here, I just can't hear out of my left ear. And just the death and rebirth, ascension, destruction are all a wheel. They're intertwined. You have to let go to gain, burn away the pain, hold on, everything will be, and it may seem hard or harsh at times or strange to you. Angel said, but the lava of the volcano makes beautiful islands, and the angel of death brings souls to the divine beyond the rainbow. He is peace and mercy too. Don't judge how much you gain by how much you lost. Better things are coming for you. It will be worth the cost. Amen. Susie is like, wow. Oh, Shadowlands. Sure. Actually, while I have my Santa Muerte deck, 3 questions. First, am I correct in my interpretation? Secondly, am I meant to be a Jedi? Lastly, is my withery growing? Oh, witchery. Yeah, witchery. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look at that. And then definitely pull some cards for our friend Heather. All right, so we have Liesl, Shadowlands, and Heather. All right. Katia says, yes, dream of shedding skin. OMG. Angela said, decided to ask how to handle these symptoms and got Bastet and Archangel Dremiel. Getting a lot, angel and goddess pairs. I noticed someone here may have an angel and a goddess tapping their shoulder for attention right now. And Katia says, the dream was about 2 nights ago and there was a constant shedding of skin, hence my transformer description. Angela says, don't fight it, lean into it. Everything is perfectly aligned with time and you will understand. Don't be scared. Reach out. Mimics wouldn't dare. It's safe to take our hand. Pay attention to your energy and how things make you feel. You'll find your place in the energy of the divine wheel. Amen. Katia says, according to Golden Wizard, yes, the Witcher is growing. Okay, so let's go with Liesl first. Okay. All right, so Liesl had gifted a membership to Nancy. Yeah. Sure. All right, Liesl. So Liesl first. All right, do a little tap in. All right, Liesl, for a moment there, ooh, my hearing's coming back. Ooh, that's good. Liesl, for a moment there, it was like I was seeing things through your eyes, like I was with you and I was at a pub and you had your arm around a friend, but I can't really see the friend. The friend has the arm around you. You have this like giant, like a schooner, like mug or whatever, a pint basically. You have a pint. your friend has a pint. It's like you guys clinked glasses and there was like all this laughter, and it was just the two of you. And it was like you were, I don't know, really celebrating something, but it was just being thankful to be with each other. Like you hadn't seen your friend in a long time. And you guys decided to go out and celebrate hanging out together again by going to the pub. Interesting. Interesting. So, and um, oh, Liesl saying for Nancy. Well, we could do that too, but I wanted to pull one for Liesl. Um, I'm trying to feel like this friend. All I can hear is your laughter. Like you are laughing so hard. Your friend was laughing hard, and all I can hear is the clinking of the glass. Interesting. Okay, so let's pull a card for our friend Liesl. We'll do one for our friend Nancy. Two. Liesl, what do we have here? Ooh, we have the Ace of Wands. All right. So just like I was talking earlier about, like all of us, you know, we're all feeling things a little bit differently. Either our sleep is being disrupted, you know, we're feeling a little bit more antsy than usual, or a bit more lethargic than usual. Our dreams are being a bit more intense. It feels like for you, you're also going through this rebirth, and the person whose face, they won't let me see the face. Even though I'm looking through your eyes, it's dark, where every time I look over at the person, I just see, it's like it doesn't let me see. And that must mean that I'm not meant to see. Like this is for you to see, not me. But when I look over at the person, it's this celebration, really, that all of the difficulties that you've been going through, I know that you've been going through some difficulties for like throughout our whole life. We have things that we've been going through, but mostly in the past year or so, there are some old patterns and some things that have been coming up for you, but it's letting you know that there's a reason all of this has been coming up. It's really your soul, and this being whose face I can't see is trying to show you that it's been for your benefit, so that you can truly feel into it, so you can truly see yourself, so that you can have this higher perspective, so that you can understand what it's all been for, what you have actually gained, what the shadow was in it and what the light was in it, and that this is like the last, I don't want to say like the last hurrah, but this is like the last, it's not going to last forever is what I'm trying to say. Like it's the intensity of all of these things have been so that it could finally be healed. All of these things so that you can get ready for the next big thing, which is the thing that I've been talking about for the whole collective. Like we're all getting ready for this next thing. And to prepare for it, there are some major things that have to be healed. So a lot of things had to come up, and it may feel like this back and forth and that it's an uphill battle, but really it's just a bringing the past into the present so that it can be healed, so you can finally see it, so it finally can be confronted, so that you can understand what its light was and what its shadow was, so that it can finally get released. So it seems intense just before it releases, you know, that it's difficult just before it gets better. So, all right, Liesl, getting ready for a mega rebirth. Mega. Seriously. Oh, I wonder, how are you? This is just joining. Good morning. Good morning to you. Angela said, ooh, Liesl, pulled for you, got Archangel Haniel and Meng Po. I'm more drawn to describe Meng Po. She's painted as a grandmotherly figure in a colorful sweater with a bowl of soup. Oh, there goes my ear. It's gone again. Says, remember We think of the old day recipes when bring clarity. I taught you long ago these ways. You already have the knowledge to make it though through. Ancestors and angels never leave. I'm still here. And I love and watch over you. Amen. I wonder said, I'm so ready. Angela's like, I'm ready and I claim it. Susie's claiming it. I wonder said, I finally caught alive. Well, welcome, welcome. All right, so let's pull one for our friend Nancy, then we'll go to Shadowlands, and then we'll go to Heather. All right, so our friend Nancy, which Lisa got a membership for our friend Nancy. Okay, Nancy, just and this all could be symbolic, but I just see this like white dog just barking, 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 but because this dog is playing with like you as a child, like a toddler, like throwing a little ball, the dog goes to go chase it, but the dog being very protective of you. So this could be just a symbolic of maybe your own soul looking out for you and helping you, but it also could mean spirit guide as well, one that's always been with you since the time of your incarnation on this planet. All right, Nancy, let's take a look here. Ooh, we have the Queen of Cups. So let's dive in. Oh, okay, so this is just a reminder that I guess the dog does represent your soul, so that our soul would never wish like true harm onto us. And that although sometimes it can be very difficult to see the light or see the lesson in certain situations in our life, that it was there for a reason. And I know that sounds trite, especially when some things can be absolutely difficult and there's so much emotion that is surrounding it and so many difficult feelings. But our soul was putting certain things on our path so that not only could you see your power, your sovereignty, but also how you have the power to change situations that you may not feel are in your best interest, but also how you can see that when we are, let's say our ego stuffs down certain things from our past, that those types of energies from our past come back into our present and they get repeated over and over and over again until they are realized for what they are. When we start to really see the lesson for what it is, it's just a lesson. It's not a punishment. It's not that we've done something wrong, or why me. Sometimes we can get into the why me, why does this keep happening to me over and over again. But it's there repetitively so that you could see the repetition, just like we see synchronicity in numbers. We see the repetition in numbers, or like if I see a bird now, I always see birds everywhere. That's how our soul speaks to us, is through repetition. And so sometimes repetition comes from negative events. We start to see the same negative type thing repeating over and over, but it's because it's trying to tell us something. It's telling us, hey, you don't have to have it repeat over and over. With these repeating numbers we have, maybe once we get the message of the repeating number, that certain number doesn't repeat for us anymore. It doesn't need to, I guess, come back and be told to us again. So if you feel like there's a type of energy that is maybe in your eyes negative and it's been coming back over and over, it's to let you know that you have always had power over the situation. You are not powerless in the fact that it's repeating. It's quite the opposite. Your power has created the repeating pattern, and because you can create the repeating pattern, you also have the power to break it. How to break it is to look at it with open eyes, with that eagle perspective, that eagle eye perspective we were talking about before. If I were to look at this from an outsider situation, how would I go about healing this? Where would I go about healing this? Why, like, where would this actually be stemming from? And sometimes it's stemming from our childhood, you know, some sort of programming or some sort of trauma, or a way that we felt as a child, and now that same feeling is being repeated until we heal it. Sometimes it goes back into past life, but it's more of an inward journey than a figuring out who, like, why, what's doing this to me. And it's not a doing it to me, it's a doing it for me, so that I could have the perspective to go inwards to heal the real reason, so that I can create a different reality for myself. And so that's the heart space that I see here. That's that Queen of Cups. So, all right, Nancy stepping up into her power. All righty. I Wonder One said, on point. Angela said, inner peace, don't fix it, just go. Amen. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful messages. Okay, so let's go back to Shadowland. Shadowland had 3 questions. Let's go back here. Okay, so correcting the interpretation of the dream. Second, will you become a Jedi? Third is my witchery growing? Okay, so let's take a look. Whoop, there we go. Okay, was she, Shadowland's correcting her interpretation of her dream with the white kitten. It's a sign of abundance. Also, will she become a true Jedi, meaning master of the self? I see Jedis fully embracing the higher self. And lastly, is her witchery growing? Let's take a look. Okay, so let's look at the first question, which was the interpretation of the dream a spot on? And so here we have the Tower card. So let's go in. Okay. Yes. Okay, so what your higher self was saying about the dream, yes, you're on point that it is about a sign of abundance to come. But before we get into that abundance, there are some blockages that we have to remove to get to that abundance. So it may feel for a time that you have a lack of abundance. But just like we were talking about for Nancy's reading, it's not something that's happening to you. Like, blockages aren't happening to you, or the universe isn't trying to say you don't deserve this or you don't deserve that. It's actually quite the opposite. Your higher self is trying to show you, hey, you don't like the blockage? Here's another blockage. Hey, you don't like the blockage? Here's another blockage. So you could say, okay, I get it. I don't want the blockages. Where are they actually coming from? So as those things come up, that's when we get frustrated. We say, okay, I give up. I call uncle. Tell me where this blockage is actually coming from. That's when we go inwards. We see where we might be creating these blockages for ourselves. It could be just from programming. You know, sometimes we're taught to be modest. We're taught to, not want to have a lot of money and things like this, whatever it may be. And so we create that reality for ourselves when we become adults. So if you feel like at first there's a blockage to this abundance, know that you're being shown that, so you can go inwards, heal those blockages, so that the abundance that is coming comes in like a tidal wave. And I do feel like you are right, that abundance is coming. It's just dependent on healing the blockages first. So beautiful. All right, as far as embodying fully the higher self, aka being the Jedi, let's see. Oh, okay. So Susie's gotta take a call. See y'all next week. Love you, Susie. Take care. All right. Here we have the Four of Swords. And so your higher self is saying, yes, in time you will fully embrace that energy. But first, there's got to be more of a going inward. So a lot more meditation, more healing, of course, really getting to know your own intuition, the voice of your higher self versus the voice of the ego. And so it's just going to take time. You know, it's not something that is going to happen overnight. You know, it's a journey. It's a journey for all of us. So take your time with it, enjoy that journey, and eventually, yes, you will be the Jedi Master of your world. But please don't feel rushed. That's the message. Don't feel rushed. And no need to compare yourself to others, like, oh, I see this person doing this person doing this, or this person's the same age as me, so I should be doing this. It's like apples to oranges, because although we are all one, yes, we're all on various different missions here, and everybody is perceiving their reality differently. So to compare myself, let's see, well, our friend Susie just left. Let's say for Susie, for instance, let's say I wanted to compare my journey or myself, what I'm doing, how I connect to my higher self, to the way that Susie connects to her higher self. It would be a moot point, because the way she creates her reality is much different than the way I create my reality. So the way I'm perceiving her is actually the way different than the way she perceives me. And so to compare myself to her wouldn't make much sense, because her reality is different than mine. Her mission is different than mine. How she connects to her higher self is different than me. So just kind of keeping that in mind. All right, lastly, you were wondering how your witchery is going. And we have the 5 of Pentacles. And so with this, I see your higher self asking you to put more faith and trust into your own energy and power. That yes, you can have magical tools, and yes, you know, even I mean, look, I'm making like Xocolatl, you know, a drink, you know, I use magical tools as well. But it's an understanding that the tools are just a supplement, and the only way they truly work is because of us and because of our magic and our energy. Do we actually need these tools? No, we don't, because we can connect to that higher self. But sometimes it makes the ego feel good, so we use these tools, and it acts as a permission slip for us to open ourselves up to access different parts of our higher self. So just kind of keep that in mind. So yes, it's kind of cool to have the tools like our tarot cards and things like that, and you know, some of the magical jewelry that I wear, but also remembering that it's our power and our sovereignty that creates the magic, and it's not the tool itself. We can have them around. There's no shame in having them around or to utilize them, you know, just like I utilize tarot cards. But understand that you are the magic behind the cards. You are the magic behind the magical tools. So, all right. Okay, and then we have our girl Heather. Shadowland says, to me, the kitten is transformation. The bunny is the incoming abundance. Yeah, so that kitten, that transformation, that's what we were talking about, transforming those blockages, releasing them, so that as the bunny comes in, the abundance comes in, which the bunny is also you. I Wonder said, it's all about perspective. Yes, it is. All right, so let's go back. I want to see Heather's question. There we are. Message from my higher self, please, and thank you. I feel like new gifts are turning on. What can I do to help this transition? All right. Okay. All right, Heather, let's take a look-ski. Katia said, my transformer dreams are on point. Yes. Angela said, cats and bunnies are both animals of high intuition. Yes, they are. We tend to say that they are in between worlds. Okay. Heather. Just tapping into your energy. Okay, Heather, I don't know. You might understand this. I always just say what I see, right? I see the Addams family, and it was like embodying Morticia Addams. So I just see her there. She's just like gliding through the house. She always seems to just kind of be okay with everything that happens, you know, even though like in the Addams family movies, it's like people are trying to do bad things to, you know, a Gomez and Morticia or the Adamses, but she always just kind of seems cool with it. It's because it's like she sees the light and shadow and everything. It's like everything just happens, and it's like she's just an observer, and she's just kind of cool with it. So I just kind of see you as this like Morticia Adams, just kind of gliding through and being like, well, that's interesting. Just, you know, she just does her thing. She doesn't care how anybody views her or sees her. She's just her, and if people don't like it, there's nothing she could do about it. So she's like, c'est la vie, you know? All right. So let's see. Heather has some change in her intuition. What can she do about these gifts? Any advice? Higher self. I wonder said, my hubby's nickname for me is Bunny. Ah, Angela says, be whatever you feel with an unapologetic heart. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to scream, scream. Don't let stress destroy your peace. Release them into the waves. You are beautiful and unique, and you will get through what comes your way. Amen. And Lisa's like, Morticia. Silverstar says, that's so funny. Where I'm at, just gonna be me and do it well. I love the Addams family. You do you, boo. All right. We have the Seven of Pentacles. So we have this guy here, and it's like he's using a skull abacus. Interesting. Okay, so let's tap in. Okay, so your higher self is just asking you to have a bit of patience, because although we're never, our gifts, our intuition, you know, how we connect to our higher self is always morphing and changing. There are lulls that we go through where, I guess, like peaks and valleys, and sometimes, you know, it works the same as it always does for quite a while. And sometimes it changes again, and then we work with it just that way for a while, and then it morphs and changes again. Well, it seems like you're still going through the morphing and changing. So you haven't quite got your footing on how you utilize your intuitive gifts. It's just still in a state of flux. So although it might be difficult at times, sometimes to get your answers, sometimes to access your intuition, don't see it as that your intuition isn't there, or that your ability to access isn't there. It's just you're going through a transformational period. So some things your higher self is pushing you away or pulling you away from. I guess not really saying you can't access this information, but it's trying to get you to see that some information maybe is not as beneficial as other things that you could be tapping into, other things that you are looking at into yourself. So let's say, I want to give an example. Let's say I want to look at how I can make more money. Let's just say I'm trying to think of something really 3D. Like, I want to make more money, let's say. And I'm trying to tap into my intuition to make more money, but every time I tap in, it's like I'm not getting any answers. Like, why isn't my higher self showing me how I can make more money? And it's not that my higher self doesn't want me to make money. It's trying to show me that there's something way more important in need of my attention at the moment. So that's what your higher self's trying to tell you, is like sometimes when you're trying to tap into things, just because you can't access the information at the moment, it's really your higher self, your intuition is trying to show you that you're asking the wrong questions, that the question you're asking, there's a deeper level to it, and it's the deeper level that needs to be asked first before we get to more of the surface level, if that makes sense. So for right now, yeah, if you do have difficulties, just take a pause, try to see if there's any other angles or any other questions that are deeper, more related to the surface question that you're asking. And then from there, you begin to understand how your intuition is moving now, how you're utilizing it now. And also realizing that it's still in a change state. You're still in a state of flux. So it's gonna feel a little weird. It's like trying to learn how to ice skate for the very first time. It's like, whoa, what is happening here? So just give it some time, give it some patience. I feel like something about this month, the month of May, is very important for a lot of people, you included. And by the end of the month, you should feel pretty good about how you're utilizing your intuition. It's like second nature once again. It feels comfortable. It feels normal, so to speak, once again. It just needs a little bit of time. But also, because you're doing a lot in the astral at the moment, it's trying to give you a break during your very human daytime hours, so continue doing all the stuff that you do during the daytime, but I think your higher self's just trying to give you a break. It's like, whoa, lady, you're already doing a lot in the astral, you're doing a lot at night. So we're trying to just give your like little spiritual self like a little bit of a break ski during the daytime, so maybe that you can nourish the human vessel a little bit more. Let's see. Silver Star says, it does make perfect sense. Definitely. It feels uncomfortable. I Wonder said, good advice. Kaya says, what do you do if you get information that you don't want to know? Well, that's a good question. Like, let's say there's info popping up in my reality that I feel very uncomfortable with. That's the higher self. That's our intuition trying to show us something that's in need of looking at. It's not so much the information that we're being surrounded by, it's the feelings that are coming up. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, we have to ask ourselves, why are we feeling uncomfortable? Where is that actually stemming from? And when we go into that, you go to the deeper level, kind of like I was talking about with Heather. It's not necessarily it's the surface question, and then there's the deeper level question. So the surface question is like, why, there's these people and they're sharing information. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know this info. But we ask the deeper questions. Why do I feel uncomfortable about this? And perhaps we get past that. Maybe it's not an uncomfortability, it's a fear. Okay, well then where's that fear coming from? And we just keep going deeper and deeper until we hit the root cause. And it could be something from a long time ago that just needs taking a look at. And so once we start to get to that root and we start to heal it, we start to work on it, then let's say this information that normally would make you cringe, on the daily basis, isn't so cringy anymore. It doesn't bother you as much anymore. You start to understand, I see where this is coming from. And then it might shift and change, where all of a sudden you don't need this lesson in your face anymore. You don't need to see this anymore, because now you understand where it's actually coming from. And so that the reality starts to change. It starts to disappear, so to speak. Katie says, it's easier not to know because I no longer feel responsible to try to fix it. Okay, so yeah, and that's something that we could look into too. Why do you feel a responsibility to fix things, to help people fix their problems? I know that you're a like therapist. I know that you help people through their problems, but also sometimes you may put an extra emphasis on that responsibility. Like if you don't help them or you don't fix the problem, then somehow it's your fault. So that could stem back from childhood. It could go pretty far back. So that's something to take a look at. Why do I feel a deep responsibility to what other people are doing? And taking a look at that. And sometimes, and also taking a look at why it's easier to be in the dark about things. Where is that coming from? And that sometimes that could come from parents too. Like parents want to protect their children by not telling them certain things. So then the child grows up thinking that the way you protect someone, or the way I protect myself, is to keep information from myself because we learned it from our parents. But that's something that can be reprogrammed. That's something that we can help ourselves with. And so that's how we take our power back. Where we feel powerless is that state that we're in. We're receiving all this information. I feel uncomfortable with it. I want to retreat. That's where we feel powerless, is when we feel frustrated, we feel scared. I feel just uncomfortable with everything, and then we just stay in that state. It's like an Ouroboros, you know, it's just repeating itself. But if we can get to the root cause, then no longer do I feel like I'm cornered with all of this information attacking me. But I see why this information is here. I no longer feel uncomfortable about this information. And now it just starts to disappear. I know it's easier said than done. Like I was telling our friends earlier, it's a journey. It's gonna take a little while, but at least now you have, as you go deeper and deeper, figuring out what the root cause is, now you have something to work on. Now the power is back in your hands. You're back in the driver's seat. Nothing is happening to you anymore. Now you're taking charge of the situation. And I know that's what you like to do. You want to be able to feel like you could take charge of the situation. That's how you can take charge of it. All right, Katie says bingo and bingo number 2. I Wonder said, wow, resonance is strong. Angela says, you got Mary Magdalene and Sheila Nag-Yig. Shadowland said, I just saw a huge king queen size bed and a Jack Russell Terrier during a meditation to help heal from something left from my birth parents. Interesting. Angela said, lots of people who do good magical things are taken the wrong way. They are painted in the ways that shouldn't, and it's hard to erase that past page. But no matter what you went through, the fact is that you made it through. Be unapologetic. Don't hide. You're an amazing person. The right ones who will see that in you. Katie says, why did the chicken cross the Mobius strip? I know, right? Angela said, to show the raccoons how to get through traffic. Nice, nice. All right, well, you guys, let's see. Do we have any more questions? Katie says to get to the same side. Dude. I love it. Okay, so let's check out how this chocolate is doing. Ooh, I love when it gets that little skin film on the top. All right, I think I can turn this off. Da, 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 da. Okay, let me go get a mug. I actually forgot to go get a mug. Here I am. All right, we're back. I have a little strainer in here so that way I could just like pour the drink directly in, and if I catch the vanilla bean or the cinnamon stick, it'll just fall in here. Okay. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Okay, just like straining it out right now. I'll let you know how it tastes. I mean, if it's got chocolate in it, it's gonna be great, but let's see. Oh my gosh. You guys need to get in on this. That's good. That's real good. Oh my gosh. It's I could taste the semi-sweet morsels, so it's got a little bit of sweetness to it, but also I could taste the bitter of the cacao, which I feel right in my heart space. Like, there's I don't taste too much of the chili powder. I guess I could have added a little bit more, but I do taste a hint of the vanilla bean. It makes it a little bit smooth. I do definitely taste the honey that's adding to the sweetness. There's a lot of cinnamon in here, so I think the cinnamon sticks were good. Holy schmolies. That's good stuff. I feel like I want to do a ritual with this later. Like, I think I want to do a heart opener meditation. Let's heal this shiz, baby. I'm here to remove ego, man. I can't take it with me where I'm going. I don't want to come back to this matrix cube. Like, don't get me wrong. I want to live a nice long life on earth. I want to enjoy the life that I have incarnated into. Um, I don't mind being 116 like I think I'm going to be. I felt like since I was a little kid, I was going to be 116 when I passed away. Um, so I do want to enjoy my time here. I do love Mama Gaia. I do love all the souls on this planet. I love how interesting this planet is. Um, but I also want to, let's see, live out the rest of my life on the planet without the confines or the shackles of my own matrix programming. So if I could remove those shackles, i.e. the ego, I would instantly be able to fly, which would be like amazeballs. If you could just like fly while being on Earth in 3D, that would be so cool. So I want to do 4D things in 3D, live out my life, and then I want to go back to the dimension that I came from. I want to go back to the 12th dimension, you know? I want to go back and be a blue avian, you know? um, and then I want everybody here. I want the planet herself. I want the universe to just ascend out of this matrix. That would be great. But I know that I have to work on myself. I have to, I guess, you know, walk the walk if I'm a walk the walk, you know? Yeah, I have to walk the walk before I talk the talk. So, yeah. But anyway, that's some good stuff. I'm gonna put my little lid on there. I like that this came from a lid. This came from my best friend too. She has like the best taste. Anyway, let's see. Let's go back here. Patrick's like, I want to taste. Oh, believe me, it tastes good. Angela says, I want to try it so bad. Well, you know, I think hopefully you got some of those ingredients in your kitchen. I think you could whip yourself up a batch. Shadowland ordered some of the plastic lightsabers on Amazon. That sounds cool. I would totally have a lightsaber fight. That would be rad. Shadowland said, I just want to practice sabers before I go to Savvy's workshop. I want to do the lightsaber build at some point. That would be cool. Karen says, do you need a windy day to make this chocolate more effective? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. Shadowland was wondering what the banging is. We have a vent at the top of our home here, and the wind catches under it when it's very windy. It's about 30-mile-an-hour winds right now. It catches underneath and it like lifts it temporarily. It keeps like trying to shut itself. So I know it's annoying. I can't help it. Patrick says, you'll be way older than 116. Hey, that'd be cool if I lived to 200. Do you imagine being 300 years old on this planet? That would be amazing. I'll do it. I'll do it. Who's coming with me, man? Who's coming with me? Karen says, Shadow, my husband has all of the paraphernalia. I'm never going to have a better homes and gardens decor. Angela said, gosh, I need to add cinnamon and chili powder to my next cacao mug. You can always add too much cinnamon and it'll still be good, but if you add too much chili powder, you could always go overboard on too much chili powder. I've made myself cry before. I mean, it was a delicious cry, but it was still a cry, you know? Silverstar says, definitely gonna have to make me some. I'll have to rewatch to get all the ingredients. Sounds so yummy. Angela says, I love making homemade cacao. I use semi-sweet chocolate chips, mint chips, milk, cold heavy cream, and all simmered slow in a pot. Ooh, that sounds good. Patrick's like, yep, around 350 years. Are you coming with me, man? Because I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll live long. All right, you guys, are we ready for our channeled guided meditation? This has been a really fun live chat. Like I said, I was going to do the poll that I normally do for my live chats, but I was just feeling that this live chat had to be a little bit more organic. And I know that I really wanted to make the heart opener ritual cacao with you guys. I know it's not like to the tea ritual because I wanted to make it a little bit sweet, but I just wanted to show you guys. I wanted to like talk a little bit about Cinco de Mayo. I wanted to talk about its correlation with how I'm feeling about humanity, how I'm feeling about myself. And I just kind of wanted to just have a chill hangout with you guys today. You guys are all amazing. I love all of your comments. I love all of your messages and downloads that you guys have been getting. So I just wanted to hang out with you guys in my kitchen today. That was the real thing. I mean, actually I was hoping to go outside and make this, but it was windy today, so uh, let's see. Angela says, sounds like the time I made sweet spicy hibiscus tea and let it steep too long and it contains cayenne pepper. I cried. Yeah, I've done that. And one time I didn't have chili peppers, so I put too much cayenne pepper in my hot chocolate and it was intense. Heather said, thank you for all you do for us. You're such a blessing. You guys are a blessing too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Patrick's like, for sure. Peg said, sorry, I came so late. I was early today, but must have slipped back into a slumber. I'll have to rewatch. No worries, no worries. Heather says, you have helped me so much in the last 4 years. So much gratitude. Heather, you have helped me so much as well. Like, you don't even know. Speaking of people who have helped, Dana is here. Hey, hey, girlfriend. Patrick says, most of us will be here for the next 300 years. Love you all. It's going to be great. I wonder if I'll still have my girly looks in 300 years. Oh my gosh. Angela says, you are all beautiful people. Hugs and blessings to all you guys. Deserve hugs. Yes, yes. All right. Well, I feel like I'm going to let Xocolatl, cacao, guide our meditation. So I'm actually going to tap into the energy of cacao herself. And I want her to guide your meditation. How about that? I don't think I've ever tapped into a cacao bean, but I'm going to do that. And I'm going to channel what it has to say for our best and highest good. I have a feeling it's going to be something about the heart. She always talks about the heart. So, you know, here we go on that. Dana said, Tara, the sun glow on you is stunning. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right. So, by the way, those that were jumping in late, we made some Xocolatl, as you guys can see in the title. Xocolatl is a mega heart opener. It harkens back to the Maya and the Aztecas of Mexico. And the reason I was talking about that is because we are in Cinco de Mayo today. Talked a little bit about that earlier in the chat. Feel free to watch the replay. But we were using cacao mostly for this Xocolatl or hot chocolate. But it's mostly for ritual purposes. So we had cacao. We sweetened it up with a few semi-sweet morsels. We threw in some cinnamon sticks. We had some vanilla bean to sweeten it up. All of these beautiful allies, in their individuality, I feel they are powerful and they are special. But when you take all of these different ingredients and you put them together, you create one love. So I think this is a metaphor for humanity, no? But we also used a little bit of honey to sweeten it, some chili powder, milk, and water. So, all right. So I'm going to let Cacao do her thing and help you guys out with this meditation. Let's see. Angela said, I vow to find you in every life from this life on because I love you guys and we got to raise the vibes in every life together till vibes don't need raising anymore. Hallelujah, girl. Dana says, I have that. Can't wait to watch the replay. Heather says, one love, one life. Let's get together. It will be all right. Yeah. Every little thing is gonna be all right. All right. Let's see. I guess we'll just stare at him. I'm trying to give you guys a good view. I know. I'm gonna bring you guys down for a second. You're in the clouds right now. Down we go. Okay. We're going to flip us around. And let's see if I can zoom in on here. Maybe not. That's not such a good view. All right, we'll zoom in on the hot chocolate then. Come on, hot chocolate, where are you? There you are. Maybe I can lower the tripod legs a little bit. Okay, there we go. Hot chocolate. Beautiful. Okay, there we are. We got our hot chocolate. I will move this out of the way. We don't need to see this pan. All right, Miss Hot Chocolate. Just give her a little swirl ski. All right, sorry for all the movement. Just getting us ready for our channel guided meditation. Angela says, in the cotton candy clouds with hot chocolate rain. Katia says, I saw a movement. There was an animal. Oh, the wind. Yes. Oh, hey, Annette is here. So just popping in to say hello to everyone. Hello, hello. Missy girl. Angela says, I pulled 2 last cards. Melchizedek and Shakti came out. Ooh. Heather is saying hello to Annette. That's good to see her. Angela says, the divine can look like a man, a woman, or all things. In between, color doesn't matter. Neither does the place, the heart. Love remains the same. They transcend time and space. Treat everyone sweetly. All right. All right. And I could put my tea off to my hot chocolate. All right, you guys. Go ahead and find yourself a nice, comfortable space. A place where you will be undisturbed for the next several minutes. You could be outdoors. You could be inside. You could be sitting under a tree, lying down in your bed, sitting in a chair, perhaps seated in a cushion on the floor. Whatever is most comfortable for you. And as you begin to bring yourself into a nice, relaxed state, I want you to bring your awareness to your breath, feeling the rise and fall of your chest. If you need to, go ahead and place a hand over your heart and feel the nice slow inhalation and your magical exhalations. This beautiful movement of energy effortlessly occurring without thought, reminding us that some of the most magical things that we do take very little effort. Breathing in and breathing out. And as you continue to breathe, I want you to imagine that you are seated underneath a beautiful cacao tree in the middle of a green and lush forest. green so vibrant, it's almost as if it doesn't exist here on Earth. Every time the wind blows through the trees and rustles the leaves, the scent of cacao surrounds you, swirls, mixing with your senses and your breath, to the point where it's difficult to differentiate between your breath and that of the cacao. Continue breathing. And as you lay against this gorgeous tree, feeling its energy coursing through its roots just beneath your feet, a woman appears in front of you. I want you to take notice of her. Does she glow a particular color? Has she taken human form? Or perhaps this woman is coming in the form of an animal. Trust your intuition. Whatever form this energy has taken, this is the energy of Mama Cacao, and she's come here to talk to you. She's come here to help you. And in her presence, you feel most comfortable, as if greeting an old friend, as if this woman has been part of your life since the day you were born. You feel you can keep no secrets from her. You can hide nothing, for she sees everything. And in this, you feel nothing but love and gratitude, as you can feel her love and gratitude for you. And now the two of you are seated and facing each other. Mama Cacao asks you to take your hand and place it upon her heart space, as she takes her hand and places it upon yours. And from here, the two of you are taking nice, deep breaths in and out. Her breath becomes your breath. Your breath becomes hers. And in this cycle of breath, this oneness, this connection, there is no difference between the woman in front of you and who you are. And in this wonderful connection, you begin to feel a stirring within your heart space. Perhaps it comes on as a warmth or a heat, perhaps just a movement, or even a little hiccup in your heart. But this is Mama Cacao knocking at the door, asking your heart to open up, to come speak to her, to share its wisdom, to share its questions, to share you, your life. Just as you are knocking on the door of Mama Cacao's heart, feeling into her energy. For you are in a safe place. Allow your heart to open. Allow that energy to flow from her palm into her body, as the energy of her heart flows through your palm into your body. And if you have any questions at this time, anything that's been weighing heavily on your mind, something that you're having difficulty in understanding, your heart is open at this time. Allow that heart to speak to her, to ask her those questions. And in this connection, she no longer needs to use words, and neither do you. For these questions are coming directly from your heart space and flowing directly into hers. And in this connection, what you've been looking for flows from her heart space back into you. Continue breathing. And as you converse with Mama Cacao, you realize that you are her and she is you. That although cacao may have a form different than yours, it may have a life's purpose different than yours, you still see yourself in the cacao bean. And in this, you begin to see yourself in all things. You are the tree that you sit under. You are the roots and earth beneath your feet. You are the woman seated in front of you. You are the sunlight blazing through the trees. You are the wind that rustles. You are the all, and the all is you. Continue breathing. If there's anything you need to release at this time so that it can be transmuted for the highest good of all, allow your heart to release it. And when you feel ready, you may remove your palm from the heart of Mama Cacao as she removes her palm from your heart. And you thank her for showing you your own divinity, your own power, and your own ability to heal. That you are both the question and the answer. You are one. And when you feel ready, go ahead and bring your awareness back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. And you can have a little stretch. And open your eyes. Whew. All right, you guys. Turn this around. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here today in the kitchen. Thank you for making Xocolatl with me, and for all of your beautiful messages and all of the wonderful downloads that you had for just sharing this wonderful Sunday. I always appreciate hanging out with you guys. I love you guys so much. You make this a wonderful Sunday for me, so hopefully it's a wonderful Sunday for you. And yeah, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a fabulous week. Don't forget about the messages for this week. Have that higher perspective. Perhaps this is not the week for action, but a week of reflection. If you do have wonderful ideas that you want to act upon, make sure that you write them down so that you can get back to them later. But anyway, I will catch you guys later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye, guys.